The sun was just beginning to rise over the small, dusty town of Willow Creek when Ethan pulled on his worn-out mechanic's gloves, ready for another long day. Life hadn't been easy for the single father. Ever since his wife passed away 3 years ago, he had been raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, on his own while running a tiny auto repair shop that barely paid the bills. But despite the struggles, Ethan always made sure Lily had a warm breakfast and a smile before school. She was his world, his reason to keep going, even when the weight of life felt unbearable. That morning, as he sipped his lukewarm coffee and prepared to open the shop, an old, battered farm truck limped into his driveway, coughing smoke from under the hood. Behind the wheel was a young woman, her clothes dusty from work in the fields, her hands gripping the wheel with a mix of frustration and worry. She stepped out, brushing strands of hair from her face. "I'm sorry to bother you this early," she said softly, "but my truck just died on me. I really need it running. I can't pay you much right now, but maybe later." Ethan looked at her, noting the desperation in her eyes. Times were tough, and he knew too well what it felt like to need help and have nothing to give in return. "Don't worry about the money," he said kindly, giving her a reassuring smile. "Let's get you back on the road first." Hours passed as Ethan worked tirelessly under the scorching sun, grease staining his already torn shirt. The truck's engine was in worse shape than he thought, and every part seemed to be on the brink of failure. Yet, he refused to give up. He thought of Lily, how much it would mean if someone helped her when she was in need, and kept working, determined to fix the truck no matter what. The young woman, whose name was Claire, watched in silent gratitude, occasionally offering him water or a rag. Ethan noticed her hands, rough and calloused, like someone who'd known real hard work, but her eyes carried a quiet sadness he couldn't quite place. By late afternoon, Ethan had done what most would call a miracle. The truck, once lifeless, roared back to life, ready to take on the miles ahead. Claire's face lit up with relief and joy. "I don't know how to thank you," she said, her voice trembling. "You've saved me more than you know." Ethan shrugged, wiping sweat from his brow. "Just be kind to someone else when you get the chance," he replied, the same words he always told Lily. Claire hesitated for a moment, as if battling with something inside her, then handed Ethan a small piece of paper. "Please, if you ever need anything, call this number," she said earnestly before driving off in the now revived truck. Days passed, and Ethan went back to his routine of hard work and fatherhood. But one night, just as he was putting Lily to bed, a sleek black car pulled up outside his modest home. A man in a suit stepped out, carrying a large envelope, and handed it to Ethan. Confused, Ethan opened it, and nearly dropped it in shock. Inside was a cashier's check for $250,000 and a handwritten note. "Ethan, you showed me true kindness when I had nothing to give. What you didn't know is that I'm not just a struggling farmer, I'm Claire Montgomery, daughter of one of the largest farm and agricultural companies in the state. I've spent the last few months working undercover, trying to understand the lives of real people who make our world run. That day, you reminded me of what truly matters: compassion, generosity, and the willingness to help without expecting anything in return. This money is not a payment, it's a thank you, and a way to help you and Lily have the life you deserve. Please never stop being the man you are." Ethan stood there speechless, tears welling in his eyes. He looked over at Lily, who was peeking curiously from her bedroom door, and he scooped her up into his arms. For the first time in years, a weight lifted off his shoulders. He could finally fix up the shop, give Lily a better future, and maybe even start dreaming again. As he hugged his daughter tightly, Ethan whispered, "Kindness always finds its way back to you, sweetheart." And in that quiet, starlit night, a struggling mechanic and his little girl felt hope bloom where hardship once lived. A reminder that one small act of compassion could change a life forever.